Insights with Terri Ep.203, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.203. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.203. Thank you for joining me on the week of exploring together January the 20th through the 26th, 2025. I thank you for your time. That's the biggest gift someone can give another person, and it means so very much to me to have you spend your time with me. And don't be afraid to leave some comments on the underneath on I think YouTube and some of the other places that are allowing that, because I'd love to know what your position is on things as well. If you have a comment, it adds to the discussion. So we are moving our sun sign from Capricorn, the responsible energy field, the one that says, let's get this done. We'll get it done the right way, but we'll get it done no matter what, into Aquarian energy. And that's more humanitarian as opposed to specific. I'm just trying to think how I would word that. It's bigger, it's global. So we may find that our views on things can be expansive in the next little bit, maybe the next 3 weeks, not a bad thing. Sometimes looking at something too closely or too small can shrink our view on things. So this is an energy field that they're asking us to expand and to look at the bigger picture. Mercury, the planet of the mind, how we think, how we communicate, is still in Capricorn, which will give us a very realistic, very down-to-earth, grounded type, it's an earth sign, grounded type of look at things. So that's a nice balance for Aquarius in the sun sign and in how we think and how we process things. That's going to stay in that position until the 29th, and then we have to look forward to Aquarian energy coming right across the board for us. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and attraction, is in Pisces. Now, that can bode well or difficult. It's kind of an energy field. Pisces is an energy field that makes us think good thoughts. Isn't particularly grounded at times. It's the water sign, right? Two fish swimming in two different directions. So grounded isn't its forte, but it's a wonderfully inspiring kind of an energy, a floaty kind of an energy. And it's in love. So if you happen to be finding somebody that you care for, or feeling like you want to be a little flirty or look for romance, this is a time to be optimistic about it, looking at the good big picture with Aquarian energy. But just be careful. Who likes to get hurt? I'm not saying don't do it. Sometimes we have to risk things to get things. Without risk, there is no gain. But just try to ground yourself so that you're aware of what you're doing, aware of what the consequences could be, and am I willing to make that sacrifice to gain or to risk? Nothing wrong with risk if you're willing to work with the consequences and accept them as they present themselves. And Mars, the planet of our passion and our drive, is still in that beautiful Cancer energy, but it's going retrograde. So a lot of our what would you say, impetus to move forward, to stride forward, to remain on the case, can be thwarted with this retrograde. We can go backwards. Being aware of it, I may start a project and recognize that I'll have a lot of steam going, but then maybe a quarter of the way in, a half of the way in, an eighth of the way in, I may run out of steam and then prepare for it. Will I have the will to, and you, to pick up and continue a little bit later? Are you going to drop it? Or are you going to push yourself a little bit? When we have a retrograde in Mars, sometimes we have to push ourselves. Sometimes maybe it's a little bit better if we just drop it and maybe pick it up later. You'll have to decide case by case by case. And then our vulnerability will be in the beginning of the week. If you have a vulnerable kidney area or bladder, if you're prone to infections or that's your vulnerable body part, just really take care of it. Don't put stress on it. This is not the time to put stress on that body part. There's some teas that are out there like milk thistle that are astringent that can help you if you're of a mind to drink that tea. Dandelion root is another good one. Not a particularly pleasant kind of drink, but it is good for you if you need that little tiny bit of help in that area. Now, about the middle of the week, it's going to go to different parts of our body, and I'm just going to say it, our genitalia. So male, female, just be aware that, let's for instance, if you're prone to yeast infections or prostate or anything of that general vulnerability in that area, there's going to be pressure on that about the middle of the week. So just take care and look after your body parts. And then the end of the week, we're looking at vulnerability in our liver, the hips, the thighs, the sacrum. So we're moving from kidney to liver towards the end of the week. So, just be careful of the toxins that you're asking your organs that get rid of things to do what kind of work. Are they up to the task? Do you want to put more pressure on them, or you want to give them a little bit of a break? If you happen to, enjoy too much of alcohol, this might not be the time to overload those body parts if you can help it, because this is the time where karma can whack you. So just be careful with it. The beginning of the week, we may find ourselves feeling like we just want to, work with other people, get along, be communal, have that partnership, that harmony. Towards the end of the week, what'll feel emotionally strong for us is independence, optimism. We will not be able to tolerate negativity as well as maybe at other times. Just be aware of it. Number 3 is the one that was given to us for this week, and that is a very creative kind of energy, and you pair that with that Pisces energy. Woohoo! So if you need creativity and you need some really creative ideas, this is the week for it. And it's original, so you'd be coming up with some really good, original, creative thoughts, great imagination. So if you need that in your work or your day, I may walk around the house during this time and kind of look at the house with different eyes, seeing if there's anything that I could change or make feel more comfortable, or maybe declutter if it's starting to, you've got the inspiration to do it and to see it with a very different way of looking at things. You're going to hate boredom, so make yourself get a little busy this week, where that cold is supposed to settle in really significantly Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe give us a bit of a breathing room towards the end of the week, but it's going to be tight. I'm doing this on a Saturday night, knowing that the cold was coming in, and I dug out all my fences, all the gates around that have to open and close, knowing that they were going to freeze tonight and overnight, and then it would be virtually impossible for me to move things if I didn't prepare. So it's looking ahead with that Aquarian energy and crossing my fingers, hoping for the best. Just being aware of what different circumstances, different weather can bring. So that I use that creativity to look ahead and say, oh yeah, the gates are all going to freeze in the water that thawed, and when it rained, I better get out there and do some digging before it gets too hard and I can't do it. So that's perfect energy field to use for this time. Now, the end of the week, as I said, optimism. I don't want to get political on you guys, but I think we're going to need it. I wish I could put it into words. I wish I could put it into happy words for you, but I don't have it, even to offer it to my friends out there. The inauguration of Trump is on the 20th. We're not going to feel the sting immediately, but it doesn't feel good, I've got to tell you, kids. And when I pulled some cards, of course, it was on my mind. I tried to get it out of my mind if I could. but it was on my mind, so maybe that's part of the drag. But what they suggested is things may not change as quickly. He said when he got into office, everything was going to change on day one. Looking at the cards, I would say that that's not going to be the case. It's not going to happen as quickly. Change isn't going to happen as quickly as he thought, or threatened, or promised, I guess. One or the other. But with this kind of an energy field, his mindset and where he goes with things doesn't feel good to me. And I've tried to not look at it. I've tried to think of all kinds of excuses, but I can't. And this reading is proving to me that we've got a long road to hoe in the next little bit. And I guess maybe that's where community comes in. That's where us sticking together. There's strength in numbers. There's strength in maybe collective consciousness. And get on that positive train, I guess I would say. So this first card that came up is a physical card. Pentacles, money, security, comforts, health, body. It's upside down. So it can indicate that there will be feelings that are overwhelming and are overwhelmed by a complexity. So there's so many things for us to try to understand, so many things in the physical world for us to try to unravel, try to wrap our mind around it. So they showed me a picture of a juggler that's trying to hold on to our money. Maybe that's why a lot of people voted him in, and he's going to affect the globe, voted him in trying to hang on to their money, listening to false prophecies, false promises. He's not going to do what he said he's going to do. The only one he cares about is himself, of course. But now we, the little guys, are going to pay the price, not immediately, but eventually. So what can you do specifically to put yourself in a better position? And they're saying, at times, many of us are not going to be able to maintain our balance. Now, this is money, right? So what we've got to look at is how do we individually find an equilibrium when everything else is disorganized and wasteful and out of balance. So they're warning us. They're warning us of the moodiness that can come, the restlessness, the indecision. What should I do? How could I help this? The aimlessness that comes with some of that. The unwise spending on some people's part, not necessarily the lower part, but the upper part of the pyramid, mishandling finances, which I know he's going to do, and that's going to land on the shoulders of people that can't afford it. Inadequate effort to make things right. That can be us, that can be them. So it's a warning. It's a physical warning. Money, security, comforts, health, body. What can you do to try to put yourself in a better position? How do you help yourself? A number of emotional cards came up, but those emotional cards are not in a good position. So that means that we're going to be having some emotional reactions to this. Fear, maybe not loving each other. The unconditional love card came up, the Ace of Hearts, but it came up upside down, which is a bit of a warning in that we're going to have to struggle, work hard at remaining in love with life, remaining in love with each other. That means gratitude for all the little things that we are able to take advantage of. Gratitude for the good book that a good friend offered so that you can enjoy yourself for a few hours. Good communication. Take advantage of all the wonderful little good things that happen during the day, trying to push that loving energy right side up instead of upside down. And that's where it landed, is upside down. So that can feel that we aren't loved, that we aren't lovable, or who could love us, or we can't love anybody. So just be careful of that. If you start to see yourself get into that position, go hug your cat, go hug your dog, marry your goose, whatever you need to do to feel love, to really make it real for yourself, and to reach out in love to other people that may need it, or even if they don't know that they need it, just offer a loving thought, a loving comment. This is going to be so necessary, especially this next week for some reason. I'm sure it's going to be necessary for the year, considering what we've got to go through. I feel heavy with all the things that I know. But we need to support each other, and we need not to sink and let him sink us and not respond to low life in a low life way. So that's taking the high road, not being stupid, not letting a bully crash over us, but it is taking the high road as well as we can until we can't. And then you look at, what can I do? So we have some things ahead of us, both personally in a small way and in a grand and big way. How are you going to take care of yourself? One of the major cards in this reading is a male, the Emperor, upside down. That tells me everything I needed to know. That I wasn't crazy, and that this is not a good person that's being put in a leadership position. As little people, how do we fight this? How do we make the best of it? That's individual. All of us are going to have to look at how best can we survive that type of a climate and not sink to a low that is surrounding us by the low life of a person that is supposed to be a leader and is not a leader and is not ever going to be a great leader. So the warning here is I'm going to say from the universe, it's, when I say a refusal to grow up, it means to look at what's true, to look at the reality of the situation, to look at the reality of, I can't do anything about it, so what can I do? They've described him to me. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm just not, because I'm sure that some of the people that listen to this adore him, and there is no coming to a middle ground with that. So I'm not going to use all the adjectives that were given to me to describe this person, but those adjectives are going to be the power that lands on us, and we have to do something about it. So our progress in maybe making more of our lives are going to be hampered. And maybe there's some difficult situations created by a selfish individual that are going to land on some of the backs that least can afford it. And if you can see your fellow person start to stumble, stop and pick them up. This is an opportunity for us to come together in strength and love and caring and compassion and look around and see, what does everybody around me need? How can I help? What can I do to take the weight off somebody else while you're carrying your own burden? And on that note, I know it's a lot, and I apologize. I wanted to be a happy-go-lucky, wonderful, roses and fairy dust kind of energy for you guys, but that's not what was offered. So I guess in this we have to suck it up, Buttercup, and then look around and say, how do I make the best of a thorny rose garden? Find some of the roses in those thorns. So on that note, I would like to thank Charlie O'Brien for putting us on Spotify podcasts, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music, SoundCloud, YouTube, and then he gives me the link, and I will pass that on to you from Facebook. He's also created he's also created the website www.terriworld.com. Excuse me, I'm going to do it again. Thank you for your patience. And he's archived 4 or 5 of the past podcasts so that you can take advantage, if you so choose, and then look at some of the ones that are the history, and we can look at how do we go back in history and learn for the future. Now, Charlie has an amazing radio station. I've mentioned it many times before. It's the Big 8, the number 8 radio.com. And he has a GoFundMe page. And I would like to share that. So when I put this up on Facebook, I will share that link, and if there's anything that you can possibly see yourself doing to help keep that station on, and he keeps us on, if there's anything that you can do to keep him going, I'd appreciate it, and so would Charlie. That's he's helped us. He has helped us so much getting these. Well, he's done it. Not helped us. He's done it. So he started the GoFundMe page on January the 12th, and as I said, I will put that link on there, and I will put it on my Facebook page as well. But in case it's hard for you to find, I'm just going to do it here right now. It's the https ://gofund.me/2 all small letters D as in Dawn EE07 AC. So that's GoFund, all one word, GoFund.me/2 DEE07 AC. If you're not sure, don't hesitate to email me or text me. Email is terri.coutts@gmail.com, or you can text me at 519-726-6699. I'd be happy to share that link with you. Thanks again for your time. If you need a reading, get in touch with me. If you'd like your dogs looked after, I'd be happy to do that too. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.